The summer heat is beating down, and just like you protect your skin with SPF, you should also be protecting your house from things like humidity, moisture, mold, and of course, water. Here to talk to us about summer home maintenance is, of course, Brendan Fogarty with Fogarty's Home Service. Brendan, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
So why do homes seem to be losing so much energy in the summer?
Air conditioning.
That's it?
So a lot of the air conditioning systems are in the attics. So if your air conditioning system that's in the attic is not protected, it loses a lot of generated air conditioning through the ductwork or what have you. But also the amount of radiant heat that cooks the roof comes in, and it conducts into the living space. First, obviously, in the heat moves from more to less. So we can talk a great detail about that.
So you want your attic well ventilated, I'm assuming. And when you say protect your AC unit, what does that mean?
So most homes that don't come with older houses, and Western Mass has a lot of them. Has a lot of older houses,
yes.
And a lot of them don't come with air conditioning systems. They come with whole house fans, but when they get retrofitted with air conditioning systems, the majority of the time the air handler, the unit sits in an attic, and all the ductwork is up in there. So it's really a hostile environment. So thinking about something in a hostile environment being the temperature of 100, 120 degrees in our attic.
Yeah, it gets hot.
That's, just sitting in that all day long. Still in the wintertime too, because the same principle applies.
Sure. Is
that it gets cold up there, and you lose heat that way. So what happens is the relative humidity gets really, really high when you have the moisture from the bottom of the house that's vaporizing up into the attic space, and then you add all of that conductive heat, it really brings the relative humidity, which causes, this is why we vent. We vent, attics to protect the roofs.
Okay, now is that the stack effect?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So what treatments are required then to help stop the loss of energy in our homes, especially if we have an older one?
Okay, so there's a series of treatments that have to happen. Obviously, from the upper level, which is the attic, we have to protect the thermal boundary. That's the space between the living space where you heat and cool to the attic space, which is an unconditioned space, a vented space. So we have to separate that. So there's a lot of treatments that have to happen. We have to identify which ones are causing the most problems. But generally what happens when we're in an attic, it's the entire thermal boundary, right? The sheetrock is a 1/2 inch or 5/8 of an inch, and then you have insulation. It could be older insulation from the original of the house.
Or maybe not even have any.
Exactly. And what happens is, that's the living space. So thinking about when you're lying in your bed at night and you're looking up at your ceiling, what is stopping the amount of heat that's conducting through right? So.
And by fixing these issues, then, I'm assuming we're also fixing issues with water, moisture, mold, things that can fester in the attic or wherever.
Great question. So that brings us to the basement. So in Fogarty's Home Services, our divisions of Dr. Energy Saver, basement systems, waterproofing, our total basement finishing is a need, not a want. Is a want, not a need, excuse me. But the basement is where all of the moisture starts.
Right.
Because of the subterranean of your concrete to dirt, right? So when that concrete is porous, it wicks its way in, it brings the relative humidity up, and then of course you have water. Water rises, a lot of storms when the water table, we saw it a lot in the spring. In the springtime, we saw a lot of snow melt that was melting into any penetrations or any areas at the imperfect joints between the foundation, the footing, and the slab. That's allowing the water to come in. That's why we put sump pumps in our basements. That's why we put perimeter drain systems in our basements. If we don't stop the water, which is a source of mold, right?
All things bad. We're running out of time.
All things basementy.
Isn't it fun to own a house? But you can fix these problems. So if folks are out there, they want more information about Fogarty's Home Services, where can they go?
They can go on our site, fogartyshomeservices.com. They can contact us at 860-219-0499. There's an 800 number too, but I don't know off the top of my head. Right.
If somebody wants to find it, they'll find it.
They'll find us. And you can find us anywhere. Obviously, in our TV commercials through Western Mass, we do a tremendous amount of value and content to really help people understand how to fix their houses. And for us to be able to come in and evaluate those homes, all you have to do is contact us.
It's an invaluable service.
Yes. Thank you very
Brendan,
much.
good to see you. And as
Always a
always,
pleasure.
great information.
Fast.
I'll be calling soon.
All right, thanks.